G'day guys, I'm Tom from Forever the Weekend. Just like to welcome you to our first episode of the Triton Build Series. I've gone and grabbed myself a KICKASS 12 volt system with this DC MPPT charger in it, all the wiring kit and a bunch of cable ties which they're kind enough to include. So I'll just run through a couple of things first. So this wiring kit here, you'll notice there is actually 3 wires connected to that. This blue one here is the ignition on wire or ignition sensing wire. So that's going to sense when your car is on before it starts charging. So I'll just start off by talking about the first lead that you're going to encounter. And that's this one here that's got the fuse on it. And that's going to connect to your starter battery. You'll notice this blue lead here, and that needs to be connected to an ignition source. Normally this is for cars with a smart alternator. Mine doesn't have one. I'm just going to connect it up anyway, just for peace of mind. So they give you 6 meters of cable, which is more than enough for what I'm going to do. They've been kind enough to leave the Anderson plug off the end of this, just so you can run that through your firewall or under your chassis to where you need to go. I'm personally going to be running it through my chassis and then up through the tub, and then it's going to connect through a little lug into the back of my seat. So we'll move over to the DC to DC charger. It is lithium compatible, so it's future proofed. I've got an AGM battery. I might consider upgrading to a lithium in the future, so it's really nice to have a charger that is future proofed. I won't have to change this charger out probably for the lifetime of this vehicle. You've got even more lead here. They've left the Anderson plug off that as well, so you can run that where you need to go. They've been kind enough to include some spares, because we do know with anything that we do to our vehicles, failure is going to happen. We're going to stuff something up. So you've got all these spares here, or you can utilize these for any of your custom builds. All of the cables in this are labeled. So you've got your ground output, and that's what's going to connect to our 170 amp battery. It is just a simple connection like that, very easy. There is no mucking about. You've got your black Anderson plug for your solar input. I don't have a solar panel on this vehicle currently, but I'm going to run that into the back of my tub and use this weatherproof shield for the end of the Anderson plug. So when I'm at camp, I can plug in a portable solar panel from KICKASS and charge my battery without having to run my car. The triple Anderson plug on the end here, you'll notice, connects directly up to the triple Anderson plug that's going to come from your engine bay. So it is as simple as that, guys. This lead here will connect to your ignition battery, run to where your charger and dual battery system are going to be, connect up using the triple Anderson plug, connect that to your auxiliary battery, run your solar where you need it to be. Everything is fused, so you don't have to worry about putting an inline fuse in. I've done that in the past and it can be very annoying. So I definitely recommend purchasing the wiring kit that's going to come with a fused cable. It is that easy, guys. I've opted with the 170 amp hour battery here, the slimline version. That's going to sit behind my seat in this cradle here. KICKASS do a 120 amp hour battery. I've opted for the 170 just for that peace of mind that I'm never ever going to run out, even if I tried. So that's going to power my fridge, my lights, everything I need at camp. Might even bring a coffee machine with me. The charger is going to sit in this cradle here, which sits on the side. So it is all in one unit, neat and tidy behind the back seat. KICKASS also do a variety of batteries, the slimline as well as those fatter styles which you might be more used to. The slimline will fit behind most vehicles' rear seats. The larger batteries may be for something with a canopy setup. So I've chosen to mount the dual battery system behind the seat here using the KICKASS battery cradle made specifically for the slimline range. The cradle itself is made in Australia. It has these straps here which are very easy. Once you slide your battery in, whack that over your battery, pull that through and tighten, and that's going to stop it rattling around in the back. The tray itself is going to be mounted using the provided nutserts just into the back wall here and a couple into the base as well. I've decided to mount it here because it's going to clear my jack and the tyre iron. I don't have to relocate this, I don't have to worry. It's not taking up any room in the cab itself. It leaves my tray completely empty, so I can load up more gear to take with me camping. Alright, so what I've done here is I've got a bit of stiff plastic and put that through the firewall, poked it up from underneath out here, and now I'm taping the cabling that I'm going to run through the firewall. So I've made sure to really tape the end there, so as I pull it through, it's not going to separate. That's going to make life so much easier rather than trying to push a wire through that's going to bend out of the way. So definitely a little tip there for you guys. So what I've got here is a little piggyback fuse just to connect this ignition wire up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one of these fuses here to piggyback from that's going to have power when the car is running. So that way my charger is only charging when the car is turned on and it's not draining my starter battery. So most fuse boxes will have this little display on the back of them. And what you can do there is you can select the one that you want. So something like your seat warmers. My car doesn't have seat warmers, but it does have a provision for it. So I'm going to piggyback off that fuse to connect this blue wire up, and we will be good to go. So I've run the cable through the firewall and then back into the back seat. So what I'm doing now is just finally connecting up this triple Anderson plug, and you can see from left to right you've got your ignition, your negative and your positive. And on the Anderson plug themselves you've got these little lips that just poke over the top of those tongues there. So it is as simple as pushing them through all together until you hear a click. That's one. That's the other. And then the ignition wire. Sometimes they can get a little bit stuck, those thinner wires, so you might need to help that out. So now that the Anderson plug is on, I can connect that up to the other end of the triple Anderson plug, lining the positive, positive, negative, negative, and ignition. It won't go any other way, so you can't plug it in wrong. And that's it. Now it's time to run the ground and output to the battery. So I've got this quick connect Anderson plug on one end, I've got the ring terminals on the other end, and I've got the temperature sensor wire. Now the temperature sensor wire is at a set length with the temperature sensor on the end. You can't unfortunately cut it and rejoin it back together to be shorter. So any excess wire, you just bundle up and put it out of the way. Once we connect this ground output to our auxiliary battery, the charger will go through a startup sequence. Each battery type will flash and it is pre-selected on AGM. Now this is an AGM battery, so I don't need to change it. But if you had a lithium battery, you just hold in the mode button until that AGM light starts to flash, and then quickly press the mode button and scroll to lithium and leave it. Once that light goes solid, the charger has selected lithium to charge. So now I've turned the car on. Let's go and check if it's all working. So we can see the alternator light is steady, the charging light is flashing, and it's in the absorption stage. So there's a 120-second delay from when this charger starts charging. And the reason that is to protect your battery, your start battery. So when you first turn your car on, there's a huge draw from that starter battery to turn your engine over. So by giving it a 120-second delay, that allows your battery to charge up to full capacity again before sending power to your dual battery. Thanks for watching the 170 amp hour dual battery setup in the Triton. If you're interested in purchasing a dual battery system like what I've got here, head to Australian Direct or KICKASS products, browse through their range, they'll be happy to sort you out. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, or leave a comment below if you think I could have done anything better. Tune in next time for episode 2 of the Triton Build Series.